Tim. Have you got a question? Are you? No. Thanks everyone. We'll run through in our normal order. Adam, if you want to start us off, please.
Sam, relegation not only today, what has...
Unforced errors you don't need to make. The biggest thing about the Premier League is the opposition capitalise on unforced errors and punish you heavily, and when you do that, they don't have to create a goal with the abilities that they've got because they're gifted it, and then we gifted 3 goals today. Well, you could write off the 4th one in the end. I mean, it's neither here there in the last few seconds, but 1-2 minutes into the first half, first half goal, gifted, could have been cleared, could have played a different pass, could have held on to the ball better, recover from that, and played overall in creative terms and pressure on the opposition. And this might sound daft to you lot, but we were very good in creating opportunities because we created 21 and we only had 2 on target though, so that shows you our huge problem. In reflection on that, Tottenham had much less chances than we did, 11, 7 on target, scored 4, so you can see the huge difference between the 2 teams and why we are where we are and why Tottenham are, always moving up the league with the quality that they've got. But gifting the error in the first half and then to go and gift the error in the second half exactly the same way as we did in the first half ends up being a huge disappointment. And then even worse than that is the fight back from the players. So there's been a lot of fight back from the players all the way through, obviously of their own doing, but the fight back was Jack scores a goal, and then what do we do again? Let him score. You'd have thought they'd learned from the first 2 and not the third one, but it kept us in the game. See where we'd have gone from there, put a bit more pressure on Tottenham, see if we could get another goal, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. So it ends up looking like a huge and very, very disappointing performance by the team, which you will all write about and all say there has. But actually the in-between, the actual game itself, was only those huge errors that made it such a very disappointing game today. And who knows, had those errors not occurred, and we'd have been better fit. We certainly had the opportunity to win the game with the chances we created. But the sad thing was, not only created, but not even shots on target, only 2. So, and at the other end, those errors have cost us dear against the quality of the Tottenham side.
What's wrong with this position?
I think that. I think overall, you need to sit down and look and discuss the whole infrastructure of the club on how you can take what you've got and build on it. That'll have to be in the Championship now. But there's many things and many factors have to be put into place for a football club to reap long-term success. There's short-term and there's long-term, like you mean. So. And most of it comes down to how good are your players. And these players have tried very hard while I've been here, and I can't fault their effort. But as a squad, they haven't been good enough by the fact that they're in the bottom 3 of the Premier League. And I would have hoped I could have got a little bit more out of them, so I take responsible for that. But it's a tough old world when things start failing, and when they start failing and confidence starts going, then it's very difficult to claw it back, and we've been able to do that. So you have to just put that behind you and come back and be more determined and more in terms of what we're going to achieve next year, in terms of what and how do you get out of the Championship.
Will you be pitching for it, Sam?
Well, that's a discussion we'll have next week at some stage, and there's lots of opportunity when we can sit down and when we get over the disappointment of getting relegated. I mean, the last thing I wanted is to be the man that took Leeds United down. I tried all we possibly could try to get the players to do and get better results. Me, Carl, Robbie, particularly, who came alongside me in short period of notice, very grateful for that. I'm still, even though I'm usually disappointed, grateful for the opportunity. And I think that, you know, the staff and what we've tried to do hasn't been good enough in terms of the results. But I thought we tried all we could try to get a better results out of the players, just not been able to achieve it. You've had a lot of questions today, haven't you?
Well, there's lots to be. And you're the only one who's here to answer them.
Well, that's no problem. That's okay. It's all right.
There's no other than Angus Kinnear, who I know you know is.
Yeah, I know Angus well.
Would you trust what is this board, whatever it is at the moment, to make the right decisions now going forward?
Well, I can tell them what I think needs to be done, and then they can say what they think or how they think. Obviously, what is or who has. And how is the club going to go forward and who with? Because we all know about is it going to be bought? Is it going to stay the same? What's going to happen? Until that factor actually is probably the first thing that needs to get sorted out before you even speak to me, if you're going to speak to me. But you know, I have really, and I can't really say I've enjoyed it. I'm glad I came back. I tried my best to get Leeds out of trouble, because I can't enjoy anything when I don't win. It's just not me, you know what I mean? So the disappointment's huge, but getting into training ground every day and trying to make the players look at the situation they're in and get out of it is, if anything, I've enjoyed trying to do that with them, and particularly with Robbie and Carl standing back up. And we didn't leave a stone unturned, and it's really sad that Leeds is in this position. And to the fans, I apologise that I didn't do better and the players didn't do better and try and win at least 2 out of the 4 games and give ourselves a bigger opportunity to stay in the Premier League.
Great.
Sam, how much of a factor has recruitment failure has been in this relegation, do you think?
Yeah, I'll talk in general. General recruitment is the number one factor for any manager or any coach or any head coach or any club to be successful. Without top level recruitment, a manager and a coach and the staff are only as good as the players they have available to their ability. So when you get coaches telling you about how much better they make the players, it is a factor. You can, but that's only small percentages. You can't improve a player's game by 10%. It's probably 1 or 2 or 3. And if you put that through the whole of the side, you get better results, of course. And if you obviously look at the whole package on how you look after a player to make sure you demand that he plays his best, then that's fine. But actual quality is all about recruitment, because better players and more intelligent players make you a better coach, make the coaches and head coaches better, make everybody at the club better, make a happy club going forward. And of course it's a much easier responsibility to coach great players or good players, because they get it and they do very little wrong. And because they do very little wrong is why they don't get beat, because you get beat by making bigger mistakes than the opposition is when you get beat. So it wasn't Tottenham's creative play today. It wasn't. Just our our misfortune of giving such basic errors away and allowing them to score. I suppose the clinical finishing from Harry Kane you have to admire.
Would it concern you that if this takeover scenario dragged on, because obviously work needs to happen probably yesterday to start recruitment?
Well, I haven't said I'm staying yet, so there's a lot of discussion that needs both ways on what's going to happen and whether that's me or whoever that might be if it's not me. So I'm not committing myself to say I am or I'm not staying. I'm staying just yet. Got my tongue tied there.
A lot of experience, Sam, in the top two divisions. How much of the squad needs cutting and remoulding to come straight back up?
It needs more goals. As it gets more goals, this squad could be all right for the Championship. So just seen Burnley go and get straight back up, like you mean. So I've had two promotions, both by what you wouldn't want to do, the playoffs. It's all right if you win, but it's absolutely diabolical if you lose. But obviously I've had two of those. So I think that Cole knows more than me, to be fair, about the Championship. So I would look and talk to him if we end up sorting everything out here, and see what would a better direction be to go.
We knew today you needed to win to have any chance of staying. You named 6 defenders. Can you explain that to us? It seemed like quite a defensive mindset from the start.
Why do you think that was?
In order to stop conceding goals?
Correct. See, you don't need to be a head coach or anything like that to understand the need for a clean sheet. Because we've conceded 74 goals.
So you didn't think naming that many defenders would invite pressure?
No, because it didn't. How did we invite pressure? Well, we played the game. You saw it. You watched it. You watched it. Did we invite pressure by playing that way, or did we put a lot of pressure on? I just said we got 21 attempts at goal, so we had more pressure on Tottenham than Tottenham had on us. We were just inept at reverting that attempts and those pressures. I'm sorry for getting a bit touchy, but it's a bad day for me. Do you know what I mean? So, in reality, the back five, in terms of how we went to attack, didn't affect the amount of chances that we got. What the back five didn't do is do what I wanted him to do and get me a clean sheet.
Stuart?
Sam, I guess you never fully know a group of players until you start working with them. So do you think you maybe underestimated how mentally fragile they were in terms of confidence?
It's a good question. It is a really good question, and I think that we've had obviously players, legendary players from the experience of Eddie and Gordon and Gary McAllister talking to him about the football club, and they've commented about how the players in training look really, up for it, really enthusiastic and really ready to go. So you think you've lifted the mood and got players in the right frame of mind, but actually on the pitch, unfortunately, that hasn't materialised into a more consistent performance over the 4 games. So, I haven't been able to achieve even one win, which makes me really, really disappointed in myself, as well as everybody else, because I thought we could have done.
We'll do one last question from Phil and then one from Martin and then leave it there. Phil?
I think that there's some telling factors when you think it would be more difficult when you get amongst the players. One was injuries, and then the fact that you thought that because I don't normally do a bit more research, there was no time for that. I had to say yes or no and get here, and then you find out that when you actually arrived, size of the squad not very big, strength and depth maybe some talented players, but not that Premier League experienced. So there's all those factors you have to find out quickly, then try and find a way to get the best out of the players. So we've not been able to do that. So it's been very disappointing.
Martin?
Your contract was for 4 games, Sam. If it's ended now with Leeds, do you want to continue with management?
Don't want to continue, but I think if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be here. But like I said, those discussions will have to happen in the next few days. We'll have to have probably a sit down for a couple of days and thrash it out. Probably the right word for both sides to be comfortable. Because the last thing I'd want to do is walk into the football club and not go the direction we both agreed to.
And have you been given an indication that they want to keep you for next season?
No idea.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, or you?
I've just got to my room and
George, could you bring the